Thank the gentleman. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from New York, my friend Mr. Tonko, for 5 minutes for his question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Let me congratulate the Commerce Clark team for their assignment to lead this subcommittee. Look forward to working with you. We have never seen a president encourage lawlessness or inflict pointless suffering on Americans at the scale we are seeing today. Nor have committee Republicans failed more egregiously at holding the president accountable than they are doing right now. That failure threatens Americans' access to safe drinking water and even our national security. Every American deserves safe drinking water. That is why Democrats made historic investments in our water systems. Right now, that money is being used to bolster drinking water, wastewater, and stormwater infrastructure across our great country. In my district, this funding is helping to replace thousands of lead pipes that pose a tremendous risk to people's drinking water. I've always enjoyed that working relationship with the Fed EPA and the state DEC. Even as some funds begin to flow again, Donald Trump's chaotic funding freeze and mixed messages from EPA have created pointless uncertainty for states and for families. Last year, GAO published a report on its priority recommendations to EPA that had not yet been addressed. Many of these recommendations focused on EPA's efforts to make certain that Americans have access to safe drinking water. Since Donald Trump took office, there have been dozens of reports about mass terminations of federal employees on short notice, including the staff at EPA. So based on GAO's past work, would drastic workforce reductions impact EPA's ability to manage drinking water and wastewater system? Anybody?
I'm going to start this answer, and perhaps I'll turn it over to the IG from EPA. So yes, as you said, Congressman Tonko, a big infusion of funds to the state revolving funds. There's been a demonstrated need across the country for funds for utilities to make sure that they're upgrading their systems and their systems are in working order. So those monies go to the states that EPA provides, and the states themselves revolve the monies down to the water utilities to make sure that those are working well. So yes, our work has found that it's important for those state revolving funds to be working, and that the folks that work to provide that are there. But it's really then the states and the local utilities that are doing the work, right, for all of us to ensure that we have clean drinking water.
But getting those dollars out in an effective and efficient way
is important.
With the states is important.
Yes.
And lesser people means a longer time in getting that work done as the situation continues to exist, where a number of communities require that assistance from EPA. Ms. Murphy, were you going to say something?
Yes, that's correct. And it is the Office of Inspector General, it's our responsibility to make sure the taxpayer dollars are being used as Congress intended, that they're going to the people that, that need the money, and the money is getting out.
Well, could abruptly firing hundreds of EPA staff, as we have seen in past weeks, made it more difficult for EPA to conduct the data verification audits that GAO recommends?
I think that's a question.
I mean, yes, that I do agree with that statement, right? If these are the people that are supposed to do the job, and if they're not there, that job isn't being done.
These are answers that I tried to get by going to EPA, but not a welcome wagon there. It's not just EPA or our drinking water infrastructure that is at risk with these pointless firings. 2 weeks ago, Elon Musk, empowered as he is, fired more than 300 people from the National Nuclear Security Administration. The NNSA is responsible for safeguarding our nuclear weapons stockpile, but Elon Musk still thought it made sense to fire 16% of its staff overnight. We don't know what the calculus was, what the awareness was. We've got inspectors general that can advise, but I guess they're being let go too. So even though administration officials quietly scaled back the purge, NNSA's importance to our national security is not something we can afford for someone to learn about through trial and error. This whole episode is even more concerning because NNSA has long been included on GAO's high-risk list, and GAO reports have identified workforce recruitment and retention as a significant challenge that the agency faces. So, Mr. Rusko, can NNSA effectively address any of the challenges GAO has identified by sowing chaos and confusion in its workforce?
The gentleman's time is almost expired. Mr. Rusco, you may answer the question.
I can't speak directly to NNSA, but it is important to have, to strategically look at your workforce. And if you're going to fire people or hire people, hire and fire the right people.
That sounds what efficiency is all about. So I hope we do finally get to efficiency as a model here. Thank you. And with that, I yield.
Chair now recognizes the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Allen, for 5 minutes for his questions.